Greetings, fellow sinners. The Reprieve with you again, presenting the finale, as it were, to the video series between myself and Thoughtful Atheist. We've discussed morality, sin, abortion, you name it, and pretty much all of the hot topics where atheists and theists often differ, we've discussed. So he has graciously allowed me to have the last word, and I think I'm going to do something a little unexpected here, and we'll just leave what's already been said. We'll let it stand on its own merits, as it were. The video series started with me talking. He responded, I responded, and he responded. And if I were to go again, that would give me one leg up on him that I really don't want to have. So we'll let what's there, again, like I said, stand on its merits, and hopefully we can show the world that people can just have rational discussions and disagree, and we can both be right, as it were. So, but what I am going to do today is a favor to you, Thoughtful Atheist. You are the one person who has asked through a comment section. You mentioned one time that you would like to hear my testimony. So I'm going out on a limb today, and this may actually take two parts because I don't know if I can fit it in 10 minutes. So I hope you'll bear with me if you're even the least bit interested, if anybody is. Let me start by saying that this is very, very personal to me. I have given this testimony only one time in public before, and it was in a foreign country where they didn't speak English, and my Spanish was a little rusty, so I don't know how understood it was. But there, one woman actually cried and hugged me, so let's see if when doing this in English it has the same effect. I guess I should start with the fact that I wasn't always a Christian. Growing up, I really wasn't much for God. I didn't really give him a second thought. I was always kind of the guy that recognized the little angel on your shoulder and the little devil on this shoulder, and I was torn back and forth between the two things. But I never really thought of it as God and the devil. I just thought of it as my own conscience. That being said, I had normal childhood, nothing weird. My parents got divorced when I was 14, but it didn't destroy me or anything like that. So, cutting to the chase here. I only got 10 minutes, maybe 20. Let me cut to the chase. I was just out of high school. I had graduated in June and was 18. I was 17 when I graduated. I turned 18 a few months later. I was decided to take a year off of school. I spent 12 and a half years in school, and I figured a year off before I went to college was fine. I had some scholarship offers to play baseball at a few local colleges that I turned down, mostly because I was in love with a girl. And doesn't that do it for all of us, huh? Not too long thereafter, this girl was pregnant and with my child. I had every emotion you could probably imagine. I was excited because I love kids, and I was excited to have one of my own. I was scared because I was so young, and I was just getting into the workforce, and I was worried, and I was happy, and I was all I was all these emotions summed up into one. We talked about it. We had several conversations where we were just going to be together and raise this child and start a life somehow. We didn't talk about getting married right away. There's too much other stuff to worry about. So a few months later, I told my parents, she told her parents, and that was that. So a few months later, I get invited over to dinner. Her parents want to talk to me, and here I am assuming that I'm going over to discuss, living arrangements and whatever. And by this time, she's starting to get a little belly, so there's no hiding it anymore. And I figured they just wanted to talk to me about what I figured I was in for a little berating or whatever. Okay, so we sit down to a nice meal, and we get a few bites in, and her parents tell me that they want her to have an abortion, that she still had 2 years left, well, a year and a half by this time, a year and a half left of high school, and you know, they wanted her to finish school and not be burdened with a kid, and not only that, but I was going to be responsible for paying for it. I didn't really have too much of an opinion on abortion before that. You know, I was torn between, you know, it's just a bunch of cells clumped together and the woman's rights and it's her body and yada yada. I didn't really argue it too much. I was neither here nor there, let's put it that way. That day, that moment, obviously my opinion changed. I couldn't believe that said girlfriend wanted to go along with this. I couldn't believe that I would even consider going along with this. I was angry, I was mad, and I pretty much told her parents they were idiots, gave them a couple of FUs, and went about my way, said, I'll never do this, you're out of your mind. They pretty much told me that it's going to happen anyways, there's nothing I can do about it, I don't get a say in it. So I was kind of lost. I didn't know what to do. It was about a 25-minute drive straight to my mom's house. I went there. She lived in an apartment that was a townhouse where there's 2 stories connected to each other. And I was bawling my eyes out. I went over there crying. I cried the whole time I was there. I was mad, I was angry, I stomped on the floor, I punched a wall or two, and, you know, let my mom try to calm me down, and this poor woman, God bless her, she put up with a lot of garbage from me over the years, so I went to the right place, but not only because of my mom, but because of my mom's next door neighbor. This was a classmate of mine from school that had been a part of my life for pretty much my high school career. Her last name was one letter different than mine, so in the classes we shared, she either sat in front of me or behind me. And she was one of those crazy Christians that, you know, that was always talking about God and preaching the gospel and always equating stuff to God. And she would let me cheat off of her homework because I wasn't a very smart student in some classes, especially English and Spanish. And I would copy off of her just to survive those classes. And she would, part of copying off her was getting a message that she had for me. So, but it was just me getting my homework done. I didn't care what I had to listen to. So, it just so happens that her parents live right next door to my mom. And she hears me when I go in crying, and she hears me crying the whole time I was there. And about the time I was ready to leave, she knocks on the door, and she, you know, she heard me crying, she saw me, and she grabbed me and hugged me and said, you know, I'm here for you, I'm your friend, is everything okay? You know. So we went back out onto the back porch, and we had a nice 2-hour-long conversation probably. And she said, would it be okay if she prayed for me? And I said, at this point, you know, I'll take whatever help is out there, I'll take it, because I do not want to abort my child. If she doesn't want it, that's fine. I'll take him. I can do this. I can handle it on my own, no problem. So a couple weeks go by, and I run into her, the same girl again, and we sit down, we have another chat, and she asks me how things are going, and I say, well, we've had a few more conversations, I'm not giving them any money for the abortion. You know, by this time it's getting later in the pregnancy, so you know, time is of the essence as far as that goes. But so we sit down and we have a little chat, and she tells me about the people that she's had praying for me. And she begins to list people that didn't like me in high school. Not friends. People that I didn't like and didn't like me in high school were praying for me in my situation. And ultimately my son's situation. And I was kind of moved by it. I couldn't believe that these guys that I didn't even get along with were praying for me. So she goes on to tell me about what it means to accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, and how that whatever turmoil you're going through, how having Him part of your life will get you through. And I'm thinking the same thing you're all thinking right now, that don't need to pray to some magic man in the sky, that I can get through this on my own or whatever.